Thank you for tuning in to the rAVe Esports Show with me, your host, Bubba Gaeddert. I am super honored to start Season 2. We were at InfoComm this summer and we got to visit a lot of really amazing stuff. Right now, I am actually in London. I moved to London so I could teach at the College of Esports. That's right. I get to teach as a professor, a senior instructor at the College of Esports here in East London. I'm super pumped. I start next week, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop making content with the help of our friends from rAVe Pubs and our sponsors like Extron. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring last season and this current season. We're always looking for more sponsors, so please reach out to rAVe Pubs. And as we get started, I always want to mention our charity of choice for the rAVe Esports Show. That is the Video Games and Esports Foundation. That's right, I am the president and co-founder of the Video Games and Esports Foundation, no longer in charge of the day-to-day, but still we look to raise funds to support disenfranchised students in low-income communities with giving them access to STEM education through esports and gaming clubs and curriculum from our friends at Gaming Concepts and Generation Esports. So please check out the link in the description or visit vef.gg. And you can donate today to support students in need across the world. We do have a goal of $10,000 we're trying to raise this season, so if you do get an opportunity to donate $5, $10, or $100, please do so to help out. Now today we're doing a facility tour at Boise State. We've got some content from Doc and some stuff I shot when I was there for an event called the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. That's the CECC. That's organized by Collegiate Sports Manager Group and Esports U, and there was a West Regional happening there last year in 2023 to help college teams from the west side of the United States make it to the CECC in Arlington at the Esports Stadium. CECC also went there this year in 2024, back in May, and next year in 2025, they will also be going to the Esports Stadium in Arlington. And I tell you, if you haven't checked out that stadium and you're an AV nerd like the rest of us, you've got to see what it takes to really put on a show with audio and visual needs for esports. Now, last season, we checked out some facilities that Josh Kell with Esports Integration had designed with his team, and we'll check those out right now. We also did a really fun call with Extron at Army West Point Esports with Victor, and we got to walk around and look at his entire facility there at West Point. Let's check out some clips from that.
Well, what's cool about having the virtual access is I could be late and I can access this remotely on the network and then launch this whole entire streaming environment remotely via a pad or a supported device. Those supported devices are also listed on the Extron website, so you can see all the different sources like a Samsung system or any of the Surface Pro systems, and you can actually predetermine whether or not your touchscreen or your tablet device will actually be functional with this capability.
That's Extron.com.
All right, so what you're going to see now is our large production. Here's the left screen. Now, here's what we're talking about capability.
Yeah.
We can now pull in computer number one and display it up on screen number one.
Okay.
And then we also have an inset of camera number 1 going up onto that screen for what we would look for that esports experience.
So there like spectator area for this as well?
Well, yeah, given the rules of some of our collegiate competition, we can't actually have this up when
right.
people are playing. But if we
Oh
were
my
in a casual
gosh.
environment, we'd be able to make this absolutely dynamic. You can actually see me, hey, what's up, in
Yeah.
real time.
Oh yeah.
As you know, look
There's
how
the Twitch stream
real
too.
time it is. It's actually
Yes.
amazing. Like it's just mind blowing because
Whoa,
we
that's
discover
really
new
quick.
things about this system almost every day. There's your, hey, everybody, where you hide yourself.
Yeah.
So we
So
can actually send the
like
feed in real
this
time
is like
from
Mandalorian
any
level.
source.
This is like Mandalorian
Yeah,
when
isn't
they created the Mandalorian show on that big infinity wall. This is pretty much right there.
Now, for today's show, we're going to be looking at Boise State University. That's Chris Haskell, or as we all call him, Doc. We've got an interview with him from Infocom, as well as one of his players, Durtho, who plays for the Boise State Esports Rocket League team, probably one of the top players in the world. And then we got some video shot by vMix that was done by the blogger Tim Vadenberg. So let's check it out.
All right, I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Doc Haskell from Boise State. Now, I didn't know you were as big of an AV nerd until I talked to you last night. Well, you talked to me for about 10 minutes about all this nerdery stuff that you thought I knew about, but I'm not as smart as you. But tell me, what's going on here at the Esports 2.0 booth?
So there's a ton of stuff. So the tech is like magic. I mean, we all see the trick and we know how it's done. What really inspires us is when we see something and we know the normal way the trick is done, but we're like, hey, they're not using that, or how did they? I thought it was. And so this event is like for AV nerds, the coolest thing because everybody's trying to impress each other. Everybody's coming up with a new way to do an old idea. And everybody wants to learn what technique they use. See if they can figure out the trick.
So at your facility at Boise State, you've got an amazing setup. I got to see some stuff you did last week with CVal, was it right? CVal, which is college Valorant. And you had some amazing, nice sliding cameras, which I know you really want to get some more of those.
Some sliders.
But can you do a little bit of translating for people in the AV space who are trying to understand esports arenas that are different from what they're used to with facility spaces or churches or whatever. Kind of translate a little bit on how you in the college space and others that we work with across the country, maybe they need arenas trying to be as nice as yours, but how do these people in the AV space understand esports and how they can get involved to help get facilities built?
No comment. No. Here, let me give it to you. Sorry, that was a good question. So for real, esports is sports. So all of the vernacular of storytelling for sports broadcasting is true of esports broadcasting. The primary difference is that the players are easier to find because they sit in the same spot, and the cameras are in the game. And once you understand that it's the same storytelling, it's the same relationship between storyteller and player, and that all you need to do is use what you know, and basically identify where people are going to be, and you mix those stories together. The visual vocabulary continues to expand, but it never gets that far away from what's happening on a Sunday football broadcast, or if it's a clip show or a story show, it never gets very far away from let's go back, the Larry King show, right? It's just a 3-camera shoot in a small studio. That vocabulary is still true in esports. It's still about the players playing the game that they play, and everything else is in service of that story. So starting with the story, then just using the tools that we know. We use a ton of PTZ cameras. We added a slider to it so we can have that nice vocabulary of a moving camera that doesn't require an operator. I would say one of the biggest differences is that for most, we don't have huge teams, right? We'll run a broadcast with a team of 5, which includes the 2 broadcasters and 3 folks, which means we don't have space for 5 camera ops, right? So those things need to be PTZ, or they need to be basically driven by software that always centers them, and things like that. that is what's unique about esports, but it really is not that unique. It's just a game that or a sport that many people don't know as well as the other sports they know, but the vocabulary is very similar.
Now, what here at the esports booth, Esports Live 2.0 booth, do you see that kind of excites you when we look around at all the production going on? I mean, I don't know as much language as you would know what's going on, but throughout what's happening here, this is the Shoutcaster's desk. There's also on the stage, there's 2 setups for Rocket League going on with 3 PCs each and gaming chairs. But what when you look over here and you studied it, I know you're analyzing it and you're maybe drooling over some stuff. It's not a sliding camera, but what's over there that you really like and want to maybe see in your facility, or is it are you just better?
So we're almost all software switched through vMix, but when you go over there and you see that massive TriCaster board and set up, you're like, that's pretty awesome. I was asking them, believe it or not, about their event comms, their ClearComm system, because we typically use Discord because it's already a game thing, but we want those types of systems. I'm not even kidding. Just in staging, I got completely excited by these wraps because I think I've seen them before, but I'd never really know. I'm like, we need to get those. Do you know how many moving head lights they have in here? 24 is the answer. I know because I'm paying attention to them and how they go with the lighting design. So there's just so much that they've done to elevate this event. These really nice LED fixture pieces in the back, the screen in the back. The multiple monitors running both the actual match and a constant event card, right? That basically that graphic A that they're running. So that's it, less the tech, because I think you could do the tech with a lot of different things. More the design of the tech to tell the story. And people don't think of a graphics A card as that advanced because maybe it's just PowerPoint or something like that. But it's our people are going to walk by and they're going to want to know who that is or who's talking or what the topic is. That's a big decision to be made, to hang monitors, to run, to create the graphics bed and everything associated with it to make sure that the story is clear when somebody walks by. That's the stuff that I write down in my notebook. That was clever, super smart, because all those decisions lead to a better show.
So you're an award-winning coach. If you guys don't know, lots of awards, not only for you yourself, but Boise State has some amazing trophy cases that I think you're going to have to rebuild and make bigger constantly. What is the future of Boise State? What is the future of Boise State esports? Where is it going to be in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, we're going to change locations. We know that. The announcement will probably be made officially in August, but we are joining the athletic department. We're being absorbed into athletics, which gives us access to their incredible student success machine, nutrition, and all the things that it makes their experience better, right? Academic support, everything. Travel for, which make my life easier. Somebody else managed to travel. That is the big in the future. If you'd have told me a couple of years ago we were going to host the multiple national championships at our facility, I would have said that sounds far-fetched. So I think there's probably more of that in our future. I think there's probably a new building in the not too distant future, but a few years, 3 to maybe 5 years, new building. And we're bringing on a bunch of new staff this year. I get a full-time assistant coach again. I get a full-time sponsorship manager again. We already have a full-time event and, basically we have a production manager now too. And so it's a lot of things moving up. Still, as Bubba, this is the greatest scam I've ever perpetrated. It's hard work. It's just not real work.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first. Doc Haskell from Boise State Esports. They're taking over the Broncos football stadium, and that's where we're going to have all of our esports competitions happening in the future. Yeah, we don't want to leak that, but you heard it here first. So thanks so much here for rAVe Esports. All right, I'm here with an amazing star student athlete from Boise State. Dertho, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. You know, it's a great day. I'm here in Vegas. It's hot, which is a change of pace from Idaho for sure. And I'm happy to be here.
So you just competed on stage here at Infocom at the Esports 2.0 Live, and I want you to talk a little bit about why you're so sweaty.
Oh, I think just as the competitive nature in me, all my teammates are all competitive. We're competitive within each other, to be honest. And there's always tension between us. Who's doing better in the rank ladder, the top 100 leaderboard. So I think that's why I'm so competitive, because I have great teammates around me who always push me to be the best.
Super humble, super humble. Now, are you graduating this upcoming? When are you graduating?
I'm graduating in 2026. I'm going into my junior year. I just turned 20 a couple months ago. So I still got a long road ahead of me, and I'm excited. To grind it out. Yeah, got more time.
I've known you for a couple of years. I've seen you compete. I thought by now you'd be a super senior because you've been just tearing everybody up. Now tell me about what you want to accomplish in the next few years playing at Boise State with Rocket League. And do you know your ranking, first of all? Like you're like SSL something. Tell people what that is ranking wise and what you want to do with that ranking while you're at Boise State.
Yeah, I'm at Boise State because honestly, not only is it a great program esports wise, but it's a great school academically as well. When it comes to esports, all my teammates are all top 100 players in the world. We all grind the game not only collegiately, but we play professionally as well. So we're always playing in like pro scrims, six mans, and stuff like that. So, you know, we're hoping to just grow in both aspects, in the collegiate esports scene and the professional scene as well.
Okay, so is there anybody out there you want to send any special vibes to? It can't be Doc. He gets enough.
Yeah.
Any family members, anybody special at home, or like just supportive for what you've been able to accomplish?
I want to give a shout out to my mom. My mom has always been supportive since day one, and she's always been just my number one fan, and I couldn't be more appreciative of her.
So last question, you're here at Infocom. This is a big AV conference convention where lots of really cool high-tech stuff that we're hearing could be the future of stuff you hear about and see in 10 years you saw today. Have you looked around yet? Have you seen anything cool? What stood out to you so far?
What stood out to me is how many smart people there are. I'm not going to lie. And just coming here to play video games, it's pretty interesting because I'm trying to make connections with all these people. And that's the biggest thing for me. Like, I don't really understand what's going on with certain tech things because some smart people here, but I'm at least trying to make some connections. And that's honestly the biggest part of it for me right now.
Now, I'm pretty sure it takes like a couple hundred movements per minute to do what you do. And I don't know if there's anybody here who can probably do those 100 mouse controller movements per minute.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you should call yourself not as smart as them. You probably have a leg up on a lot of stuff. Last thing is, what do you want to do while you're here in Las Vegas? And maybe keep it clean?
No, I mean, I'm 20, so there's only so much I can do. But my teammates' parents are treating us to like entertainment and dinner, and just honestly, just taking it in as a whole. You know, it's Vegas. You know, it's a good time, and it's beautiful out here. So I'm excited.
All right, this is Dertho from Boise State. Pretty amazing fella. Thank you guys. Stay amazing.
So this is the Boise State Esports Control Room. This is a dedicated esports broadcasting control room. We do about 30 hours a week with our student staff and casters. Right now, we've got some of our broadcasters out on desk. But everything flows from live cameras. We have very little NDI in this space. Most of it is wired directly into this Constellation, ATEM Constellation 4ME. Which you see displayed on a number of these monitors. Don't let it fool you. TVs are only about $170 a piece. You can make a control room look fabulous with just a handful of TVs. But it flows into our primary broadcast computer right here, which is where most of the work is done. There's an 8-port Blackmagic card in there, which is taking 8 inputs directly from the Constellation. Our technical director right here has about 140 inputs that they manage from this space, and is able to bring in the different observer PCs. We have 2 in this room, and we can bring in several others from outside if we need more in-game cameras. But the direct relationship with this person and this person is Zach is our replay director, and he is producing replays during the event on a separate installation of vMix that serves as the replay machine. And they just did 3 short 3-second clips, which require manual process to create. All of our sound comes into this relatively simple Look L12 board. The reason we like this is because it has 6 different mixes, headphone mixes out, which allows us to give the arena a different sound. Our broadcast monitor in here allows us to have the full truth sound of the broadcast, and then give the casters themselves essentially their version of a mix minus, so that they hear themselves in real time and the game sound with that slight delay. All of the sound then just gets routed straight through the system, through individual inputs to our stream. We have streamed using a web presenter in the past. Right now, this computer is beefy enough. We like to push the stream through this machine because it's beefy enough. This is a 3080 Kingpin version of that card, and we like it a lot. We do have a person who will sit in this spot and manage sound at times, and live cameras, because we have about 12 cameras. 6 of them are PTZ. They're PTZ optics, either 20 or 30X. And then we have a number of other cameras set up that are static. We even have a wireless Hollyland HDMI set up so that we can have a fully wireless walkabout camera. But I think the most interesting thing that people would really be impressed with, I would think, is that our replay manages all of the social media that we create, which means students have capture targets. They're putting together all the social media that we create, top 5s, players of the game, player highlight packages, so that they can be used in broadcast, but also so they can be exported and directly uploaded to our aggregators for the purpose of pushing directly out onto social media. And we do between 10 and 20 different pieces a week of video that we don't produce in post. We produce live for the purpose of pushing out on social media. We show them on the show, but really they're for social media. And that's what a dedicated replay operator allows you to do. We can do replay on a single machine and use it meaningfully, but we can get a lot more out of it by putting somebody smart in that position. Gosh, Tim, have I answered all the questions you can think of? What controllers do you have? Oh, controller-wise. So we have quite a few of the X keys, different versions of the X keys. We've got basically the replay controller, the paddle controller over there, 2 different Stream Deck, and Zach, can you pull it out of the drawer down there? We've got a nuclear panic button that we use from time to time. We've got 2 of those, in fact. We don't have one set up right now, but I think every control room needs a, press in case of emergency kind of button. We use, I think, a 3rd generation Huddle Cam controller, although I think we want to get the new Joy version of it. Capturing the screens right now just goes directly into the ATEM Constellation for ME. And we have a number of other machines that can come in there. We could, if we needed to, capture every machine on stage and bring it in and select from it. But since most of the games operate from the observer position, we can have an in-game observer, spectator, manage the in-game cameras. And usually we have this set up, it's just one right now, but usually we have it set up in a two observer scenario where one is the point of view camera and the other is a fly camera, so we can capture all the nice moments of from overhead and be able to take those without bouncing back and forth. We have an actual studio space set up in another part of the building that we use more for like a interview set and things like that connects to this room, but this is primarily the control room where most of the stuff happens. I'll tell you one thing that I think is kind of interesting. So if you look here, you'll see our stage in there in the arena, and we've got the two teams' logos on these monitors, and we use the multiple outputs in vMix to be able to send separate details to those. Coach, will you switch it back over to the event logo? And that can all be scripted, so we can decide what goes on these monitors, and we'll go back to the game look now, which will show you those, and we can switch back to the team look if we want to, or really send anything to those screens just using vMix outputs, because all those assets are in there. And I'm excited to see what everybody else comes up with, because this works really well for us, but I'm sure there'll be comments in the on any kind of video that would say, oh, well, have you thought about this?
Thank you all so much for watching this quick episode of the rAVe Esports Show with me, your host, Bubba Gaeddert. Please don't forget to donate to the VEF, the Video Games and Esports Foundation, at vef.gg, and we appreciate our sponsors, Extron. See you next time.